This story is about a king who was born weak. Then he proves that he is capable of being a good king. In the starting of this film, we get to see a small group of apes whose king, Simon, was going to be a father. The king went out and stood with his men, waiting for the good news. Then there came his advisor, Vladimir, who said to the kind that there is a problem. The king couldn't understand his words. That's why he went to the room of the queen and was happy after seeing his cute son, who was strong and healthy, just like him. Then his advisor showed him his second son, who was very weak. After showing him, he said that he took birth first, and according to the ancestral theories, the firstborn will become the king. The king was sad after seeing his first son because he was small and weak, and he knew that the men won't accept his as their king. Then there a witch came. She then gave the king some hope and asked him not to worry. And this is not his mistake. This is actually the mistake of the nature. And he is so weak that no one would ever accept his as a king. So the king asked Vladimir to kill him. And when Vladimir tried to kill him, he changed his mind after seeing his innocence, and he didn't kill him. And when he left him, then that prince started crying. Then Vladimir taught him how to walk and then played with him. Time passes and the prince grew old, as he was physically weak, so the Prince Edward still looked like a kid, and he also worked like a kid, but he was curious in knowing everything. Once when Edward played with his friend Jan, he then broke a twig and asked Jan to blow air in it, and when Jan blowed air in it, it then expanded just like a balloon. Then there a bird came and exploded it, and just when the bubble exploded, that stick got stick to Jan's nose. After seeing this, Edward got really happy and took that stick and sticked some leaves on it, because these things were like magic to them. They were playing, but just then they got to hear some noise. And after hearing it, they both went there. And when they went there, they saw that a game was going on. And there the son of the king was performing really well. And after seeing this, everyone was cheering his up. And the king was also happy about his son. Then the game started again. The king's youngest son, Vanya, gave his best in that game. And when the ball came to Jan, Jan couldn't resist himself and jumped down to catch the ball. Edward also jumped with him, and both of them fell down with the ball. But the ball got out of their hands and went inside a hole. After seeing him, everyone surrounded him. Edward somehow managed to get out, but they beat Jan severely. After seeing this, Edward instantly got a stick and made it sticky after blowing air in it, and then he got that ball out of the hole. When he took the ball out, everyone was shocked after seeing this. Then there came Vanya, who started talking to Edward. Then the witch and Vladimir looked at his legs, and they were really shocked because their legs looked similar. Vanya took the ball from Edward and started to start the game again, as the ball was sticky, so it stuck to his hands. And everyone tried to get the ball out of his hands, but even trying so hard, they still failed. At the end, a monkey managed to get the ball out, and just when he took out the ball, it then hit a tree, and the ball hit the king's head, and it got stuck there. Vladimir tried to get the ball out of his head, and just when he pulled the ball out, then the king's hair also got pulled out. The king was sad after this incident. They both were busy talking, but then a monkey came, who said that the king summoned them. After hearing this, Edward was happy and went to the king with Jan. The king asked Edward that he knew magic, so he asked him to show his magic. Then Edward pulled some leaves out of a tree and put it in the king's head, and it looked like a crown. And after seeing this, everyone got really happy. To show the king his face, he collected some rainwater in a leaf. Then we get to see that the witch took advantage of this and left. And here, Edward asked the king to see his face in the water. And just when the king looked at his face, he got scared after seeing himself, because he never saw himself before. Edward then said to King Simon that it's nothing to be afraid of, and asked him to look there again. This time he was happy after seeing him. Then Edward made a swing for the king and asked him to sit there. There the witch called a lot of honeybees there and left them to attack everyone there. Here the king enjoyed the swing, but then a lot of honeybees attacked them. Then chaos spread there, and the king fell down. After seeing this, Vanya also pushed Edward down, and then the king got angry at Vanya. Vanya got sad at this, and then he left. There we get to see Edward, who got injured after he fell down. Then Jan came there, who tried to help him out, and because of the large distance, he couldn't help him out. So Edward went ahead, and then he fell inside a hole. And when Edward got out of that hole, he saw two ostrich, who were beautiful. And then there he saw a lot of wild animals. And after seeing them, Edward got really happy. Then he saw that some wild wolves were approaching towards him. So he tried to run away, but he ran backwards, because he never ran with two legs. But somehow he turned back and ran backwards, and managed to save himself. Here everyone was looking at their faces in the water given by Edward. Then they noticed Edward, and they saw that a lot of wild wolves were chasing him. Edward then ran and got inside a group of rhinos. And when the rhinos saw the wolves, they also started running away. And when the rhinos were behind Edward, and when the king saw this, he then went alone to help him out. The king got injured while saving Edward, and because of lots of injuries, the king was taking his last breath. And before dying, he told him that he is his son and Vania is his small brother. After knowing this, Vania was not at all happy. Vania took the dead body of his dad and left. When Edward got to know that he is the son of Simon, he was shocked. After the death of the king, Vania was prepared to be the next king, and everyone looked happy after seeing Vania as the new king. But Edward and Jan were still there in the jungle. Then the clouds started to roar, and a lightning struck a tree, and the tree then caught fire. As Edward was curious in knowing things, so he got happy after seeing the fire, and then hold a twig, which was set on fire. Then he got his hand burnt, because he didn't know that he could burn himself with the fire. Then he started to play with fire. Then a massive storm got formed, and it was very strong, and that storm pulled everything that came in front of it. Then Edward also got inside the storm. There he met with a beautiful female ape, and her name was Lucy. Edward tried to get close to Lucy, but he failed. But he somehow managed to get out of the storm. And after some time, Lucy also managed to get out, and she then fell down the cliff. Edward tried to take her out with a rope, as the rope was weak, so it broke. And just when they were about to fell inside the cliff, then Jan came there and held the rope. And just when they were about to come up, they fell down again because of the foolishness of Jan. But Edward somehow managed to get both of them out. And when Lucy got back to senses, she then saw Edward in front of her. And she got scared after seeing him, so she started to run away. And Edward followed her. And after a lot of efforts, he then got near her. And they both started to talking. And then they both enjoyed a lot. And at the night, Edward set fire to a twig with the help of lava, and Lucy got afraid after seeing it. Edward then explained her and then took her to the home tree. And after seeing it, everyone was happy because Edward spread light there in the night. Then Vania came there, and he thought fire as a danger, so he asked Edward to leave them. But Edward tried to explain Vania that fire is not harmful, but it's very useful. And he then set fire to a lot of sticks and showed them. But the witch motivated everyone against Edward, and that's why everyone hid him and asked him to leave. So they both went inside a cave where they saw a wolf. But Edward used the fire to scare him, and they both spent the night there. Edward used a lot of sticks and spread light there. The next morning, Lucy and Edward went for hunting, and at night, when Lucy hit a stone with another stone, then it sparkled some fire out, and then Edward made fire out of it. And then they go for hunting daily and spent their night in that cave. One day, Lucy and Edward were eating their prey raw. Then Edward put a dead prey on the fire, and just when the prey got cooked in the fire, its smell spread across the whole jungle, and everyone got excited to eat it, and everyone approached Edward to eat it. Lucy tried to scare them, but Edward stopped her. And then everyone had their food together and spent the night in that cave, and they all enjoyed a lot. Everyone was happy there. And there, the king Vania sat alone in that tree. Everyone got intelligent after living with Edward, and they burnt big logs of wood and formed fire there. Slowly, that place became developed. Everyone was really happy there. Then the witch used her black magic and sent the honey bees to attack Edward, and then they all attacked them, and this made a lot of chaos there. And because of the chaos, all the buildings fell down and everything got destroyed. This made everyone mad. And then they heard the sound of the witch. So everyone took their weapon and went to kill the witch. And when they got near that tree, then they decided to burn it down. But Edward tried to stop them. And after hearing their noise, King Vania also came there, and after seeing him, their anger got to the peak, and Vladimir asked 2 of his men to cut the tree, and just when they started to cut the tree, a liquid got out of the tree. After seeing that tree cutting, King Vania attacked on them, and then the fight started between them. And during the fight, the tree was set on fire. Because of the fire, the Queen Medulla got struck on the tree, so Edward went there for her help. And while saving her, Edward got in trouble. Edward asked everyone for help, but everyone got scared of the fire and left. Then Edward saw Vania, and he asked him for help, and the witch was also trapped there in the tree, and she died because of the fire on that tree. Here Vania rescued Edward, but their home was now destroyed. Vania now realized his mistake, and he then confessed to Edward that he and the witch wanted to kill him. And now he accepted Edward as his big brother, and then they both hugged each other. But they were also sad after seeing their home destroyed. After seeing everyone sad, Edward told them about a new home, and then left for their new home. And after traveling a long distance, they reached a beautiful jungle. And after seeing the scenery, everyone got excited, and here the movie ends. Thanks for watching. See you soon with a new movie explain video. Till then, stay happy and chill out. If you like the video, please like it. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and press the bell icon and tell us in the comment section how you like this video.